All right, so I'm going to give it a rundown of my early season whitetail kit, from clothing layering system all the way from base layers up to boots and snake protection. So when it comes to layering system with clothing, I see it over and over again, hear it from people about, talking about cold weather layering and wanting to stay warm, which is really important. When it comes to early season, I feel like that's a time when maybe you're not taking it as serious or not thinking about it as much. But I think it's really important, and I'll go through a few reasons why. So when you get warm weather, so say you're thinking 50 degrees up to 100 degrees, there's a variation in temperature there. You could have things where it's cool, real cool in the evenings or the mornings, gets really hot in the middle of the day. Being able to manage that moisture is really important. But when it comes to early season, there's a few other things to think about that you don't have to worry about as much once the weather is colder. And that is ticks, mosquitoes, snakes, and so I build that into my system here. So to start off, I'm gonna go through with the base layer. So when it comes to early season, I want to pull moisture away from my skin the best possible. Merino can still do a good job at that, but synthetic does it better. And that's where I like to use the Sitka Equinox Guard hoodie. And this has a built-in face mask, super lightweight, stretchy material. And the reason why this feels this way is it is built with insect shield and a bite resistant textile that does not allow mosquitoes to be able to bite through this material. So you're in those hot swamps or you're in the mountains and it's just buggy and flies and mosquitoes. Helps a ton with that. And then insect shield is basically permethrin infused in this clothing for ticks. As someone who's had Lyme disease and has really had a negative effect on my life, I take this really seriously and love the fact that Sitka has built that into this Equinox Guard system. And the way it works when you're wearing this, it's got the thumb holes here on the end, so you can put it over your thumbs, which work really nice with the Equinox Guard gloves, which have a long cuff. So you can pull that up over your sleeve, so everything is connected. Ticks can't get in there and be able to bite you. After the gloves, we've got the pants. So these are the Equinox Guard pants. Same concept with the insect shield built into it. Also has hip vents on the side that you can unzip, but it has a mesh so bugs can't get in there when you're trying to dump heat and moving in the hot conditions. The inside is grid body map, so when it is a little bit chillier, you still have a little bit of insulation, but this grid pattern allows for the air to move in there and keep you cool. And it's a lightweight material to also allow you to be able to breathe with it. Inside the bottom of these pants has an internal gaiter. It's just the thin material that you'll find on the Equinox Guard hoodie. You tuck that into your socks so no ticks, anything can climb up underneath it. Again, having full protection from ticks there. And then on the outside, the last thing is there's a little knife sheath here. So if you're carrying a knife, say you got like a case knife here or whatever one that you have that has a clip on it, you can put it on there and it's reinforced so it's not gonna blow out that over extended use. The other part of your base layer system is your socks. So here I've got the Sitka midweight socks here. I'll either use the midweight or the lightweight for the early season. A lot of times I tend to wear midweight from early till later. Depends on kind of your boot fit and how your feet sweat there. But this is a wool blend and they've been super tough that I've been using them for. Been really like these socks. This one have a little bit of cushion in the bottom, so when you're hiking in, helps for comfort. Now that right there, when it's 70 degrees plus, is probably all you're gonna wear most of the time. But I always like to keep an insulation layer and a piece of rain gear in my pack in the event of any storms that come up or just a little bit of a chill to it. But you don't need much like you are in a late season or a rut type scenario where you have a giant temperature swing. And I brought 2 different insulation layers, and they're actually active insulation layers. So meaning that you can hike in them and they're gonna be able to breathe, but they'll also trap heat when you're staying static, and whether you're in a tree stand, ground blind, whatever that might be. The first one is the Ambient 100. So this is the Ambient 100 hoodie. It has 100 weight in it, and it's very breathable. So you can hike in this thing. I mean, I use this for everything from elk hunting to whitetail hunting, and it's just lightweight, super soft here, packs up nice and tight, and you can put it in the bottom of your pack. You don't really even know it's there. The other one that I brought here was the Ambient 200, and the reason why I brought this is when I go into another video where I talk about rut hunting and where I utilize this piece a little bit more, this is something that it's probably a little bit overkill for a lot of the early season, but it will definitely take that chill off and keep you warm without totally overheating if you wear it as an outer layer over top of that base. And the reason why I show this is because if you are building a mid-season, late season kit, this is something that you can use across the board, because the name of the game with this stuff is it's all expensive. And the more that you can utilize the same piece of clothing as a part of your layering as you go into the season later, the better. You can use all of this stuff I've talked about beforehand during the rut just by adding different layers over top of it. But to move on here, here's the rain gear. Now this one I'm really excited about. This is the new downpour from Sitka. I don't think they changed the name at the time of recording this video. It's not out yet, but this is something that I've been testing for the last 2 or 3 years. And what I really like about it is it has a little bit of a silent face Gore-Tex on the outside. So it's going to be 100% waterproof, 100% windproof, and be able to act as that outer shield. But the old downpour system, although it was super quiet, I liked it. It was a little bit bulkier for me to keep in my pack, where this mimics more of like you think of the dew point system, that is super lightweight and packs down small in the bottom of your pack. So you give up a little bit of noise, but typically I'm only using rain gear in the tree stand or in the saddle in an absolute emergency or downpour. And at that point, once this gets wet, it actually gets quieter. The other feature about it is it now includes pit zips. So if you did need to wear it while you're hiking, say you're going in, you want to check cameras, you're doing whatever, you can dump heat out your armpits and be able to stay comfortable with it. The hood's articulating with a pull tab on the back to be able to make sure you pull it tight and you're not restricting your hearing on the back of it. And then the last piece of it is where your hands go are up higher. So instead of it being down low, think of it when you are saddle hunting or you're doing anything else in a tree stand. When you have it down lower, that rain runs off of your arms and will go down into those pockets. And this way, when your arms are like this, rain will run off your elbows, not getting into your pockets there. And then, like I said, from a saddle hunting perspective, keeps it up a little bit higher. But this is an awesome piece of gear I'm excited about that they come out with this year. All right, now to go into the footwear side of things to kind of complete the early season system. I've got 2 pairs of boots here. I have over here, I have the Lathrop & Son Encompass. These are a heavy, burly, more of a trekking type boot, but they're still breathable, they're uninsulated, and they're waterproof. So a real burly boot. I like to wear these in addition with the snake gaiters I'll tell you about here in a second. In snake country, because they are a heavier duty leather, they are not considered snake proof. So I am not saying that they are snake proof, but I feel a lot more confident with this heavy leather if a fang did hit at this part of the boot. Now the gaiter will cover most of it, but there are some limitations to this. The other thing is the sole is stiff. So when you're on a saddle platform for hours, typically early season, you're not in there for a terribly long period of time, but it helps reduce the stress on your feet from getting tired and being in there the whole time. And the next set of boots I have here are the Rock Lights from Innovate. I picked these up for $42 on Amazon on sale because they were a discontinued model. They're Gore-Tex, they're extremely lightweight, just really nice for scouting, hiking, turkey hunting, early season whitetails. Definitely wouldn't want to do this in snake country, but they're more of like a trail running shoe than they are a boot, but they do have a little bit of ankle support. These things are awesome. Although these are discontinued, you can find similar models like this in the newer versions or find something on sale. So just keep an eye out. They're basically, like I said, a trail runner with some ankle support for early season. Now to round this out, I've mentioned these a few times here, but these are snake gaiters. These are called turtle skins. And I've had these for about 6 years now. You can tell they're kind of crinkly, loud, but if you've ever seen other snake gaiters, they're stiff, they're heavy, they're hot. These are super lightweight, pack up, down inside your pack, they're nothing. Honestly, it makes me wonder how the heck they even protect you from a snake bite, but that's what they claim on the website there. So, and so the one issue I had with these, because they just zip onto the bottom of your boot, but they wouldn't stay low enough down here to protect my feet. So I just took a bungee and I put it through these loops and I put it underneath it, almost like you would with a regular gaiter. And I tie it down so it gives me the maximum amount of foot coverage. When I'm actually considering buying a pair of regular snake boots to wear in places that I know are really thick with rattlesnakes, that would just give me a little bit better peace of mind. But I've been using the gaiters for quite a while now, and it gives me a little bit more comfort when I'm going through a boulder field or going through high ferns or something in venomous snake country. So this is my Sitka system, or my early season whitetail system, from beginning to end, going through here. Really, it's just a few pieces that you need, but it is important to think about that moisture management and taking advantage of the conditions to stay comfortable out there, even in the heat. I appreciate you watching this video. If you want to check out the full gear list, see links to everything, look in the links below. It'll take you over to my website, eastmeetswesthunt.com, where you can see everything there. Thank you.